In today's video, we are going to create an amazing poster design for NESCAFÉ. Grab your mouse as we dive in. First things first, we are going to create a new document. Choose a solid color. With a solid color in place, we are going to create another solid color. With the mark selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, we are going to increase the opacity, set foreground to white. Increase the brush with the right bracket key and we are going to make a few clicks. Create another solid color. Set blend mode to multiply. With the mark selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush, we are going to reduce the opacity. Foreground is set to white and we are just going to paint some back. Let's grab our asset for this tutorial. Holding down the shift key, we are just going to copy all these layers together. Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. We position this right about here. We position the text here and we are just going to press Ctrl A to center that. Ctrl D to deselect. We do same for this layer. We are just going to press Ctrl A and we are going to center that. Ctrl D to deselect. Create a curves adjustment layer. Reduce the opacity. With this layer selected, we are going to create a mask. With the mask selected, grab the brush tool, right click and set hardness to 100. Opacity is set to 100. Foreground is set to black. And we are just going to be masking out some portion. Foreground set to black, we are just going to be masking out some portion this way. With this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mark selected, Ctrl I to invert. So basically we are going to be painting some shadows. With a soften brush, reduce the opacity. Right click and we are going to set hardness to 0. Foreground is set to white and we are going to paint some shadows. We are going to put another exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mark selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soften brush and we are just going to paint some shadows. With this layer selected, we are going to create a curves adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. Create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With a soft hand brush, foreground is set to white and we are going to paint some shadows. We are going to create a new layer right here. With a soft hand brush, right click and we are just going to set our angle and radius. Increase opacity. Foreground is set to black and we are going to paint some shadows. With the layer selected, we are going to create a mask. With the mask selected, we are going to reduce opacity, set foreground to black, and we are just going to erase. Set blend mode to multiply. Reduce the opacity. Right over here, we are going to create a new layer and paint more shadows. Create a new layer, grab a soft hand brush. Right click and set roughness back to normal. Set opacity to 100. Foreground is set to white and we are going to click once. Set blend mode to overlay. Ctrl J to make a copy. And we are going to reduce the opacity of the copy. We are going to grab the ellipse tool. Set the hair scope to this darker shade. Then we are going to create the shape right here. Zoom in and we are just going to position it right here. Drop the layer. Ctrl J to make a copy. Then we move it right here. Create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. With the soft hand brush, foreground is set to white. Reduce opacity and we are just going to paint some shadows. With the layer selected, we are going to select the mask. Hardness is set to 100, opacity is set to 100. Foreground is set to black and we are just going to mask out this portion. We are going to create a new layer right here. We are just going to be painting more shadows right here. With this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer. Already clipped onto the layer. With the mark selected, Ctrl-I to invert. We are going to reduce the opacity with a soft hand brush. We are just going to paint some shadows. Create an exposure adjustment layer. With the mark selected, Ctrl-I to invert. With a soft hand brush. Foreground is set to white and we are just going to paint some back. Once you have everything in place, then we are going to press Ctrl-Alt-Shift-E to merge all layers. Right click and convert the layer into a smart object. Then we'll go for camera raw. So filter, camera raw filter. All we are going to do is we are going to play with the settings until we like the outcome. Once that is looking good, then we hit OK. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do hope to see you in the next one. Till next time, stay creative.